Hello everyone, it's Laura here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm gonna show you how to make a sweet Valentine's Day card using some adorable digital stamps by CC Designs. To start off this card, I cut a piece of Fabriano Bristol Smooth cardstock using a die by Evriel, and I am now doing some ink blending with distress inks. I am using tumbled glass and I am trying to achieve an ombre effect, so I am applying the ink starting from one end, using a heavier pressure there, and then I am blending my way up towards the other side of the panel, but I am reducing the pressure as I move so that I get this nice gradient. For the clouds in my sky, I cut some more Bristol Smooth cardstock by Fabriano using the Mama Elephant Landscape Trio die. And before going ahead and doing some more ink blending, I am cleaning my work surface so that I don't contaminate my color with the previous color that I used. I want to have some pink clouds, and I am using distress ink in spun sugar and doing again some more ink blending. Again, trying to achieve an ombre effect, so applying the color with a heavier hand towards the bottom and using a lighter hand towards the top. I added some water splashes to the sky background and dabbed off the excess with a paper towel, and now I am doing some more ink blending on these puffy clouds that I cut with a Lawn Fawn die, again using spun sugar. And I am adding some water droplets for a distressed effect. I did some extended die cutting using the same die from the Mama Elephant Landscape Trio die set, and this basically allowed me to obtain a larger panel with this cloud border. And I did this because I want to have 3 layers of clouds on my card, but I just have one die, and I don't want the clouds to look all the same, so basically having a larger panel will allow me to shift it with respect to the other ones, so that I don't get the same pattern on all 3 layers. And you will see exactly what I mean later on while we assemble the card. But for now I'm just adding some more spun sugar, a few more water splashes, and I also die cut a large panel from vellum using the same Mama Elephant cloud border die and this extended die cutting technique. Here it is. It's now time for what's probably my favorite part of card making, which is coloring. So I printed these digital stamps on some Nina Solar White cardstock, and now I am coloring them with Copics and Spectrum Noir markers. I am adding shading with the lightest skin tone that I'll be using, and I am doing it as if the light source is on the top right. And I always tend to map out the shadows with my lightest shade before coming in with the darker markers, because this allows me to check whether I am placing the shadows correctly or not, and in case I made a mistake, it's much easier to kind of fix it afterwards. And on screen you will be seeing 2 different colors, so the Copic marker color that I'm actually using and the Spectrum Noir marker color that you could use instead if you wanted to color these images with Spectrum Noirs. And this is because if you've been following me, you know that I mainly use Spectrum Noir markers, because these are most of the markers that I own at this point. And a lot of my viewers have left me comments saying that they appreciate seeing tutorials with Spectrum Noir markers, so I don't want to let those viewers down, and that's why I'll be listing the colors you can use instead of the Copics I'm using. And if you're wondering why I got Copics at all, it is because some of my Spectrum Noirs are starting to run out, and unfortunately here in Europe it's really, I don't know, I haven't managed to find anywhere to get 3 inkers, so I'm going to replace the Spectrum Noir markers that will run out with Copics, and I guess this way I will also build my Copic collection. And in the future, whenever I'm using Copics, I will try to keep doing this, so to list the Spectrum Noirs that you could use instead. But in any case, you can check the Kitten Clouder website, because last month an amazing resource was released. Basically, you can download the document completely for free, where you can find a comparison chart between Copic markers, Spectrum Noir markers, Prismacolor pencils, and I believe also Pro markers. So I think this is a really amazing resource because it allows you to basically, reproduce a color combination even if you don't have the supplies that, are being used by the video maker or by the blogger or whatever. So check that out. I will link to it in my blog post, which will be linked in the description box down below. And you will also find a list of all the supplies that I used to make this video. I will now leave you with some music to watch me color the rest of the images, and I will catch you guys when it's time to assemble the card. At this point I have my card base laid out, and I am trying to find an arrangement for the cloud borders that doesn't look like I cut everything with the same die. So I will be playing around with them and shifting them horizontally with respect to each other, like I just did right now, until I find an arrangement that I like. I'll secure them with some washi tape, and then I will go ahead and cut them with my Tonic Studios guillotine trimmer. And before I go ahead and assemble the clouds all together, I'm going to adhere the sky panel to my card base. This is cut out of some dark gray cardstock to a standard A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, and I am left with a 1/8 of an inch edge all around the sky panel. I am once again checking the positioning of the clouds before I go ahead and adhere them to each other. And at this point I figured out that they were a little bit too tall, so I went ahead and trimmed off the excess. I then used this Crafter's Companion tape runner to adhere the cloud to each other and also to my card base. And I made sure not to add any glue where the vellum shows, because otherwise that would be visible. I removed some adhesive that had stuck to the vellum cloud using my Tombow mono eraser, and now I am adhering my cupids. I am using Tombow mono multi-glue, and I tacked one underneath the clouds and one on the top right corner with the bow aiming towards the heart that the other one is holding in his hand. And I thought, this made a very cute scene. I am die cutting the I love you sentiment out of the same gray cardstock as my card base, and I am using a die by Lonfon. I am deciding on the placement of all my elements, and then I'm going ahead and adhering everything. I am tucking the vellum clouds behind the solid clouds, and I'm making sure again not to have any adhesive poking out of that vellum. And finally, for this very, very thin sentiment die cut. I am using Multi-Medium Matte by Ranger, which I am applying with a toothpick because unfortunately my fine tip applicator has dried and I have to unclog it. I am picking up the die cut with my tweezers and adhering it to my card base. And I will trim off the pieces that hang off using my scissors. For the little dot on top of the eye, again I put some glue directly on top of the card base and then added it with my tweezers. And I decided I wanted one more heart in the clouds, so I colored this one with the exact same colors as the one that the Cupid is holding. This is from the Studio Katia Sweetheart Candy stamp set, and I cut it with the coordinating dies. And finally, I am adding a ton of sparkle using my Spectrum Noir clear overlay pen. There I was trying to show you all the shine from the glitter. And I am adding it over all the hearts that I have in this cute little scene. And that's it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments below, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. You can visit my blog for the full list of supplies and I'll catch you guys soon with the next one. Ciao!